100 shirts for only $395. 20 shirts for only $100. 5526 Burkhart Road in Dayton and on the web at greenleafprinting.com.
All I've seen is what's on it's
on the internet and TV right now.
Yeah, right now. They've got the video up.
Yeah, we posted it last night.
Yeah, when I get done today, hopefully I can go and talk to the chief. So, I don't know any more than anyone else knows.
Okay.
So.
You think I did a pretty good job of getting that out quickly? Because the story was, I mean, just people just naturally just said, what?
Right, I understand.
You know.
I mean, half the thing, I think it's good that we did put the information out there and let people see. That's transparency in government, which is what everyone's crying out for. You know, hey, here's an issue, we're giving you the information.
Do you know if there's a full tape? Because it does cut off.
I haven't seen anything. When I'm done here, I get to go downtown and make a phone call and request to see it so that I can answer questions like this fairly and accurately.
Exactly. Oh, let's see. The GE deal is done, and all signed off on. Am I correct? I mean, as far as the city goes.
Yeah, everything's done paperwork-wise, so they can break ground.
Okay.
As far as I can tell at this point.
Now, having gone through this, you know, I know the biggest thing I heard from you know, board members and different people commenting on it is that, you know, we've got to do this economic development. In the future, we're dealing with, and it's something all cities are dealing with, is corporate givebacks to large companies like GE. What have you learned from this? And do you think it's fair overall? I know the city was kind of put in, you know, we're in rough economic times. We're put in a situation where if you don't, everyone's going to say, he's turned down all these jobs. If you do, they're going to say, he's giving unfair tax advantages to corporations.
Well, I read a sign once years ago in a business that most businesses fail because you can't please everybody. And, I mean, that's literally what's happened here. The majority of people are happy they're coming because it's jobs to Dayton. The other thing is it sends a message to the world that GE Aviation is willing to take a chance on Dayton. I mean, they were willing to take a chance on Vandalia. They were willing to take a chance on England. They were willing to take a chance on Washington Township. But they chose Dayton because of the marriage with UG. So I think the bigger message outweighs the complaints about the corporate welfare concept. The thing is, if we didn't do it, someone else would have, and they would have got it. GE makes enough money that they can pay lawyers to find ways not to pay taxes. I mean, it's legal. It doesn't make it moral or ethical, but it's legal, so there's nothing anyone can really do except...
Is that really a locality issue, or is it a state or a national issue?
Probably more of a state and national
issue. I mean, it affects us locally. But...
Right. But just, again, the way our system's set up is it pits municipalities against each other to compete for jobs, and the laws have to be changed at the state level. In the meantime, should we not play the game? I mean, so I think had this been about 4 years ago and we weren't in the budget crunches that we're in, nobody would be complaining. It's just that, you know, we're taking hit after hit after hit from the state's budget, and all of a sudden people are looking at this saying, but we're not getting anything out of this, and we should be harder on them. And again, I think the picture is bigger in that this sends a message that will hopefully attract other businesses to Dayton, especially high-tech businesses and stuff like that. So,
would you like to see, just in general, and like you said, it's a state issue, would you like to see the playing field level just completely for all businesses? Nobody gets an abatement, or everybody gets a certain abatement?
It would be more level if we just did the regional government thing, because then everybody benefits and nobody's fighting locally with each other. You just have one entity that says this is the best site for them, and the region benefits, not just Dayton or Washington Township or Beaver Creek or whatever. You've got to do it that way. That's the easiest way. I mean, it's just one of those. It's good news. I mean, it is. It's good news.
And it brings up a bigger issue, and a discussion in the community. No one was talking about, a lot of people weren't talking about corporate welfare.
Right.
And, the whole subject.
Another good thing that came out of this, we as a city had never really utilized the new market tax credit program that was passed by the federal government about 10 years ago. And people started using it about 5 or 6 years ago. We just started using it last year. And this was all part of that, where it forced our employees to learn about what's out there and what can be used for gap funding. So from that perspective too, it was beneficial because our city staff are more learned in a policy and a procedure that's been used against us for the last 5 years.
Okay.
So now we can compete.
All right. The panhandling issue. What's next? I don't know if you saw a video we did last week. We went out and tried to
cleaned
talk.
up that area. Yeah. I'm not sure what day effectively that can be enforced. It's soon. It's coming up soon.
The panhandler I talked to, she seemed to know that I won't be. Yeah, and I won't be able to stand out here with a sign, but I'll be able to stand out here. And I'm not sure if you saw that.
She can't solicit money from people in motor vehicles.
Well, if you see the video we've got, she said, the Dayton police are telling her she can stand here, but not with a sign.
She can't collect money either. Not from motor vehicles.
That doesn't seem to be the word on the street.
Well, if you read the law, it says that you cannot solicit money or anything of value from motorists in the right-of-way.
Okay.
So if somebody gives her money from a car, she's violating the law. If it's a pedestrian, then we can't stop people from panhandling pedestrians.
Okay.
So, and then we also have the discussion now to do something down in the Oregon district or some other areas where we may put up used parking meters so people can make a donation at the meters. I mean, we're looking into that as a viable way to reduce the panhandling on the street and the hustling on the street. But in the Oregon district, when the guy hustled me, he hustled me for $10. He was trying to get $10 out of me. He wasn't looking for it.
Yeah.
There are some professional hustlers out there.
Yeah, and we're seeing these panhandlers panhandle right next to free dinners and breakfasts. I mean, like 100 yards away, and like the panhandler I talked to the other day, I asked her, I was going to give her a full, your say, what do you think about this? She cursed me out, and then went over and called someone on her cell phone.
Right, yeah.
I was like, what? And I've got some other folks, pictures around town. These guys are wearing $100 sneakers, and
they're not hungry and they're not homeless.
No, yeah, they don't elicit your empathy. And actually, it's really even worse because people who are really. That's such an insult to people who are really in need. Well,
that's why we're trying to basically encourage people, if you really want to give to the needy, give to St. Vincent de Paul, give to United Way, give to the charities that are helping the homeless, because then your money is going to be used to support the people who really need it, not this organized group of people. Because whenever I see them down on Wayne Avenue, there's one person panhandling, there are 3 sitting on the bench. They're either in line waiting for their shift, or they're there as a group to help the other one if somebody ushers them away. So, it's definitely an organized.
Have you guys, has the city thought about maybe doing something like advertise? I know they advertise with the dragons or different venues that they advertise in, or some sort of messaging. Like don't feed the panhandlers.
I haven't. I'm not.
Or feed the panhandlers. Don't feed the panhandlers with money. You know what I'm saying?
I always used to joke when the issue was brought up. I said, maybe signs on the roadside that said, "Please don't feed the bears." Would work, because we don't have bears. We have panhandlers there. No, the ordinance should take care of most of it, but it's not going to take care of all it. One of the things I'd like to see and encourage is people busking on the streets, people playing saxophone, guitar, entertaining, drums or something, and that adds to a flavor of a city.
That's always with non-amplification, though. Am I correct?
Right. Yeah. You don't want to boom out people.
Dude, I've known a couple buddies in bands of mine who've shown up in parking lots and with the full gear and started jamming and got just lots of. I think what's the Dayton band? These guys are great. Sit and Dance. They did a concert live from the adult store parking lot, and it was really, really loud and kind of funny and weird and. This is what makes culture in Dayton great. Sometimes guys come out and make you uncomfortable.
I should make you sing from my roof.
We can talk about that. Is there any other issues right now that you like to talk about?
I'm better off when people ask me. I don't come up with issues. I just solve problems. Like, I'm here today to help solve this problem.
What other problems do you? A problem that I almost forgot to ask you about. The guy that got arrested in the OD the other day. We had talked about. I'd seen a link online. He had been arrested out like 6 months ago. I'm not sure if that's exactly correct.
Okay, this is the guy who kept falling out of the gun when he was holding up the place. Yeah.
And we had conversation before in the past about lack of jail space, and I had seen some things online. People were complaining about this guy shouldn't have been out last time. It was for an armed robbery. Now he's out robbing again. And we do know that jails are, all across the country. It's a national problem, not just local. They're filled with people, and not necessarily violent people.
Right.
And
I think the governor's trying to deal with that issue, where we've got people in jail that maybe shouldn't be there because the nature of their crime doesn't warrant the time they're serving.
They could be out doing something like this?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, but then you want the jails for the really violent people and the ones that are armed robbers and that don't care. So I think the governor's dealing with that, because a huge percentage of the state budget goes into the prison system. I mean, absolutely phenomenal amount. And that's an issue that the governor is trying to address.
The idea you had said, you had an idea, but, just tossing around many ideas one night, back when I was living off of Wayne next to you, was for a jail for petty offenders.
No, I had talked about possibly having, we have this juvenile detention center. I think we were talking about having almost like a state-funded boarding school, reform school.
Yeah.
What you really need. So because a lot of these kids, they're in jail because it's a better environment than at home. So they come out of juvenile detention, they get home, they don't like the conditions at home, they go steal another car so they can go back to juvenile detention. Well, maybe it would be easier to have juvenile detention for the crime, but when you come out, if your parents would have to sign you in and put you in reform school, which would be right next door, in my opinion. That way you can look across and see all your buddies behind bars and know that you don't want to go there, but in this reform school, they shouldn't be teaching you things like English and math and science and history. They need to teach you to be a mechanic, a stonemason, a plasterer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that you have a vision of where you're going to go, and it's not going to be across the street in the reform,
back of a cruiser.
Back in the juvenile detention center, right.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of human rights issues and parental rights issues and stuff there, but if you think about it, it may not be such a bad idea, to get these kids, because we're paying for them anyway. We're paying for them to be in the detention center. Mm-hmm. So why don't we educate them? Yeah,
wasn't it the reform system, or It's
a reform system, but they're not reformed, right? All they do is they learn how to do more bad things. But I guess you have to look at the psychology behind why they're there. A lot of them aren't there because they want to be bad. They're there because the environment there is better than the environment at home. They're getting fed every day. At home, they may not be fed every day. Mm-hmm. So, it may be a survival instinct for some of these things.
Okay.
But hey, it wouldn't hurt to have a discussion about it.
Oh, then there's always the James Dean rebel aspect that is continually present in youth of a lot of the stuff that goes on. That's young men that age like to test boundaries. Is what I'm saying.
All kids like to test boundaries.
Yeah.
And they also like to have rules and regulations. It's the parents that don't enforce rules and regulations that end up with the unruly kids. I always say, you spend the first 20 years of your life being raised by your parents and the rest of your life recovering from it.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. If there's anything else you want to talk about, you can always get a hold of me. And I thank you for your time. I'm going to follow you guys around here cleaning up.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. You have a good day.
Thanks.
Greenleaf Printing and Designs has stupendous signage, printed and embroidered apparel, and promotional products for you. They're at 5526 Burkhart Road in Dayton and on the web at greenleafprinting.com.